What's up, everybody? Matt Modi here with Jedi Modi Sports Network, and we are here to talk through Sunday Night Football Week 7, Dolphins versus Eagles. Overall, I have 4 plays for you guys to lock in. The first 3 are all correlated together. It's an alternate prop for the first 3. My 4th play is an anytime touchdown. All 4 are for plus money. Real quick, before we get into it, I do need to do a recap. These player props, gotta be honest, have been killing me. Have not had this success on the player props, as you can see on the screen here. Majority of the time, we are beating the closing line value, but that doesn't matter because the plays still go down as an L. Hopefully, we can get this to turn around, starting with this Sunday Night Football game. Real quick, would appreciate it while you're watching if you could like the video, subscribe, and comment. Let me know your thoughts. Ride with me. Fade me, that's also fine. Comment and let me know. And let's chat about Sunday Night Football. So the first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is an alternate line, Tua, to throw for 325 plus passing yards. This is at plus 320 odds at Caesars. So the very first thing that I'll say here with this play is that I know that it's supposed to be windy on Sunday night. And I did do some research and look into this. By the time the game actually starts, the winds should be below 20 miles per hour. Now, obviously, the forecast can change as the days go on. I can only act on the information that I have at hand. And the wind is supposed to die down as the game goes on, and it's supposed to be below 20 miles per hour once the game actually kicks off. In doing research, this is according to covers.com. Anything where the wind is the most impactful is anything above 20 miles per hour. So hopefully we can continue to have the forecast go in our favor, that we can have the wind be below 20 miles per hour. That's the key number to get below. We'll have to monitor it as we go along. If you want to wait to lock this in when the wind and the weather is more confirmed, I wouldn't blame you. But with that out of the way, let's get into this. So the Eagles defense, they're second in rushing yards allowed, and they also have the second best rushing defense in the NFL according to DVOA. On the other hand, their passing defense is not that good. They're 20th against the pass according to DVOA, and they also give up the 20th most passing yards per game. I think the Dolphins know that the best way that they can have success is through the air. And this Eagles defense, as those stats kind of bear out, have been able to been taken advantage of through the air. Mac Jones threw for 316 passing yards. Kirk Cousins threw for 364 passing yards. Sam Howell threw for 290. They did a great job shutting down Baker Mayfield and Zach Wilson, and they also had a decent game against Matthew Stafford. I watched that game. Stafford did have about 4 throws that, if he put them on the money, the game could have been completely different, but we can only look at the stats. But overall, the Eagles have been susceptible through the air. Now, Tua, meanwhile, he's been awesome. He's gone over his mainline prop of 273.5 4 out of 6 games. So if you want to take his main line, that's at 273.5. It's at minus 115 odds at BetMGM. You can take that one as well. If you do, I'd put a unit on it. We are just going to track the alternate line. And he's thrown for 300 plus yards in 3 of 6 games so far. Now, he's only gone over the 325 number once, and that was in week 1. But he's got a great opportunity to do so once again against this Eagles team. As I mentioned, they're stout on the ground, but they can be had through the air. And not only that, their secondary is also completely banged up. This is the 7th game of the year. They will be starting their 7th different secondary. That includes the safeties and the cornerbacks. The 7th different one for each game. Their top cornerback, Darius Slay, missed the game last week, currently questionable to play with the knee injury. They're out their top 3 slot cornerback options. I'm not even sure what they're going to do in the slot. The games in which they had James Bradbury move to the slot and had Josh Jobe start on the outside are games where their defense did not play very well, like that game against Kirk Cousins when he threw for over 360 yards. And their top 3 safeties are also banged up as well. This is a death sentence against this Dolphins team. So I am projecting Tua to have a ton of success. For what it's worth, all this research was via props.cash, who has his projected passing yards at 346, well above the 325 number that we need. That's our first play. The next one, I'm going to have two plays that are kind of go hand in hand. So I'm going to talk about them together. They're alternate receiving yardage props. So as you can tell, all in on the Tua passing game, the Dolphins passing game. We're taking Waddle to have 100 plus receiving yards at plus 430 odds. And we're taking Tyreek Hill to have 150 plus receiving yards. That's at plus 490. All these plays are at Caesars, and they're all for half unit plays. So the guess here, this is pretty obvious. If Tua blows up, one, if not both of these receivers are going to blow up as well. Now, obviously, there's risk here, right? With the wind hitching all your bets, hitching your wagon to kind of the same philosophy, the Dolphins passing game. But for the plus 300, plus 400 odds, the reality is we are getting pretty good value here. And all we need is one of those three to hit in order to be profitable from the three. So I'm going to take Hill and Waddle alternate lines. Let's start with Waddle, who's obviously the biggest risk here. No way around it. He's had a slower start to the season. The most receiving yards that he's had all year was 86, and that was in week 2. Now, he got injured in that game, and he missed week 3. So who knows? He might have been able to blow up more if he didn't get hurt in that game. But the reason why I am still confident in him is he's still getting targeted a decent amount. The last 2 weeks alone, he's been targeted a total of 19 times. Even though he's had lower receiving yards, he's still having a lot of targets. He had 10 targets 2 weeks ago, and he had 9 last week. 19 targets through 2 weeks is the same amount of targets that Tyreek Hill has had the past 2 weeks, and Hill's been blowing up. So the Dolphins' offense is too good, and Jalen Waddle is too good for him to continue to be this slow. So I'll call my shot in that he has a good game, 100-plus yards. And like I mentioned, the 19 targets in the past 2 weeks, same amount that Hill has had. Now let's stick with Hill. Obviously, he's had significantly more success than Jalen Waddle, so let's stick on him for a second. His main receiving yardage line is 97.5. He's gone over that number in 4 of 6 games so far. The thing is, in all 4 games in which he has gone over 97.5 receiving yards, he also has had 150 plus receiving yards. So that's another way of saying he's gone over 150 plus yards in 4 of 6 games so far. He's been incredible. Week 1, 215 yards. Week 3, 157 receiving yards. Week 5, 181. And last week he had 163. So sure, if you want to say it's risky to count on him to continue to have this level of success, I understand that. He is set up to continue to have that success in this game, though. Not only is it a primetime game, but as I mentioned, the matchup is advantageous for the Dolphins receivers and for Tua as well. And I understand this isn't exactly a comparable situation, but the last time Tyreek Hill played the Eagles, he had 186 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Now that was with the Chiefs, so I get it. Not a ton of comparison to be made, but he has burned them before. We could easily cash both Waddle and Hill. All we need to do is hit one of the 3, including Tua, and we are profitable. So let's hope we can at least get one, but let's hope we can get all 3. And then my anytime touchdown prediction as well, we're going with Raheem Mostert, anytime touchdown, plus 110 odds at Barstool. I know, as I mentioned, that the Eagles are stout against the ground, but it's a completely different story when the teams actually get into the red zone. The Dolphins are one of the best, not only best offenses, but best red zone offenses as well. The way they can confuse defenses with their shifts and their motions, all they need to do is create a little bit of space, and someone with the speed of Mostert can get there. With Achane out, Devon Achane, the Dolphins rookie running back, Mostert is by far the leading player, the leading snap getter in the Dolphins backfield. I know that they have Salved Ahmed and they have Jeff Wilson, but Mostert is going to take the majority of the snaps. And he's been awesome this year. He's been really, really good. He scored in 5 of 6 games, and he just gets so much work on a good offense, specifically in the red zone, that getting this for plus money is really great value for us. I'm guessing, I don't know this, obviously it's a guess, the prediction is that this is going to beat the closing line that's going to close closer to 100. For what it's worth, PropStock Cash has him as the most likely player to score. They actually project him to score like 1 1/3 touchdowns. They actually have him going closer to 2 touchdowns than he is to 1. On the year, overall, Mostert has 10 touchdowns in the red zone alone. He scored 8 times on the ground, leading the Dolphins in red zone carries. He's also scored twice on 4 receiving targets as well. He's tied with the third most red zone targets on the Dolphins. He's tied with Achane. He's only behind Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So Raheem Mostert, I'm all in on him to score a touchdown in this one. Doesn't matter how he gets it. Could be rushing, could be receiving. He's just got to score as our fourth and final pick for this video. So 4 plays total, 1 unit on the anytime touchdown, half unit on all of the alt lines. Let's hope we can have a good day, get a couple of these to cash, start getting ourselves in the green for these player props. And that's it. So I appreciate everybody for watching. As I mentioned, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a good one.